Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Strategic Success Network, Unlocking Network Marketing Mastery. My name is Crystal Green, and I am going to share with you today some mindset strategies that I have utilized over the last 15 years while in this industry. For those of you who do not know me, this is my group here. I'm hoping that we'll expand it more, utilize it for a space for us to share what's worked for us, questions we have, and just to unite in the network marketing field to help each other grow and thrive in our businesses. And so what I'm doing today, I've been around the block for a while. I definitely love every aspect of network marketing. There's been some time throughout my journey where I've felt overwhelmed and maybe insignificant. And so my goal with sharing these daily videos with you is to encourage you a bit through your process and through what you're learning. In 15 years, I have, been executive level plus in multiple companies. I've had teams that were small and large. I now currently run a team of over 700 individuals worldwide in my company that I've been with for about a year and a half. I really love what I'm doing here. And I think that's one of the keys when you get into anything that you're sharing is that you have to authentically appreciate and love your product or your service that you're selling and sharing, right? And so I'm not going to get into what I do and what I share. That can be used for a different conversation. If you're interested, just email me or message me. Otherwise, today I'm going to talk about mindset. And, the key to truly having a presence, not just a presence in this industry, but finding success and differentiating the difference between learning failures, right? Learning and success. Is really truly, it all comes down to mindset. Now, I'm aware that most of you probably don't know my story. I went from being kind of corporate level, doing some things where I've helped businesses come ground up and created strategies and helped them with their hiring process and just their demonstration for their products and things like that, to becoming a personal trainer and a business owner and finding my way into network marketing in that time. I'd really just dabbled in network marketing, I'll say, up until about 2018. At the end of 2019, I fell very ill. It put me in a position where I was already the primary breadwinner. That's another story for another day. But it put me out of the field. So it took me out of my corporate position. It took me out of my personal training business. I had to close my own business. There's a lot of things that happened. In a few months span, I ended up becoming bedridden, wheelchair walker bound, and I stayed that way for 3.5 years. And during that time frame, mindset was really a key thing for me. During that time is when I took to social media. I started sharing my journey more. I started talking about, what I was going through and just trying to be a light for other people amidst all the things that I was going through. And so I really started to share my story. I started to kind of hone in on what I wanted to do with social media. I figured if there was nothing else I could do, if I could no longer drive, if I couldn't get out of bed, if I couldn't be the mom I wanted to be, if I couldn't do all those things, I wanted to at least find a space where I could encourage and empower people. And now over the years, I've just learned that that's God's ministry for me, and it's evolutionized into something beautiful. But one thing that stood true was that regardless of all the things that I had gone through, and this is just a really minute, part of my story, but up until I realized that mindset truly matters. What I think, what I say, how I show up, what I allow on my social media, what I allow to go through to my team, how I lead my team, how, all the things, how I lead myself, how I let God lead me. All of those things came down to a mindset shift for me. And it truly was the aha moment where I was like, okay, a mindset can truly help you distinguish the difference between failure, and you never truly fail unless you stop, right? But failure and success. And once I started to incorporate that mindset and a few things that I'll share with you today, I realized, okay, this is bigger than me, and there's more to it. Another part of that is servant-driven leadership, of course. If you're out here just to serve yourself, especially in network marketing, you're probably in the wrong industry, because the reality is you don't grow unless your team grows. And if you're not reaching down into your team, into your organization, regardless if it's one man or 20,000 deep, the reality is you are going to be stuck dealing just with yourself, you know. I mean, and I say that because it's like, if in network marketing, it is truly the position of network marketing, and especially when you decide to be a leader. And being a leader is like, that is a decision you make, because there's sacrifices that you have to do or make when you become a leader. I'm also going to say this. I'm coming to you raw and real as I am, disability and all. So if you've never heard me speak before, just know that, like, I'm going to talk how I do, and this is not prescripted or planned or professional by any means. You know, it'd be different if you paid me to stand on a stage, but this is for me to just share my view and share my experience with you. And so I welcome you to come as you are, authentically yourself, and I ask that you just accept me in that manner as well. So, so showing up authentically and deciding to become a leader is a decision, right? You have to choose, am I going to show up like the rest of the world and try to hold up this persona that I'm not? Or am I going to show up as myself and trust God to just like bring the people who need to be in my circle? Am I going to show up as someone else, or am I going to be me and authentically drive and draw the people in? Like, that's what, like attraction marketing is, right? Like, so am I going to attract the people that are most, not necessarily like me, but align with me, you know? And that's one thing that I realized as I was going through my journey here over a decade, you know, has been like, okay, I tried where I showed up as everyone else. I tried the makeup field, and there's nothing against the makeup field, but I wasn't me during my journey through the makeup field. I'd have burst of me where I would share my journey and where I'd be authentically myself, and then I'd be in those moments where I was playing like I felt like a character, you know. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm writing a whole book about character building because it is important. You do decide your character. You can make a character shift. However, when it's not coming from an authentic place, you really, truly struggle. And you fight things like imposter syndrome because you know you're not showing up as who you are, you know. And so mindset has been a big thing for me. And one of the first things, you know, that really, really kind of hit home was embracing that growth mindset. And the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset is, you know, growth mindset is the ability to know that you can develop into anything as long as you dedicate and work really hard. Dedicate yourself and work really hard. Growth mindset is saying, okay, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to always look for a solution, and I'm going to make sure that I'm doing what aligns with me, and I'm going to push hard. A fixed mindset is like, well, if it'll happen, it'll happen. If, you know, and like I hear a lot of folks that are like, well, if God wants it, it'll happen. But like God calls you to work for it. So if you're not a servant-driven leader and you're not showing up for your team, it's not just going to happen for you. You have to be someone that's willing to show up, sacrifice time, sacrifice, you know, your certain commitments, not sacrifice family. That's a lot of mixture. People get, you know, you need to have that family time. You need to have time to develop personally. You need to have time with God. But making sure that, you know, or when it comes to growth mindset, it's just that mindset, that mentality that, okay, if I want to grow, I need to find a solution. I need to always be strategizing. And that's the reason my company is called the Strategic Success Network, is everything I do comes with strategy. I think about it. Like, I literally think and plan and strategize before I make any moves, because I want to make sure that what I'm doing is authentically aligned with who I am and is going to serve a purpose for the people that are embarking on it. Like, if you join my team, is there a purpose for you here, or am I just looking for numbers? You know, so the growth mindset, really just looking for solutions, knowing that there's always a win, like there's always a way to succeed, but you have to be able to you have to be able to look for it. You know, I mean, you have not be able, be willing. You have to be willing to look for it. Focusing on your journey. I have come across so many people over the years that, you know, are just like, well, if I could just do what you do, if I could just be as open as you, as if I could just, you know, if I could just speak freely, if I could just show up authentically, that takes work. It takes work to be yourself, especially in light of social media. And then when you grow your following, there's a lot of people that feel like they can say anything to you. You'd be very surprised with the amount of negativity I've gotten in my inbox and just things that people have said. And I've always just had to redirect myself back to me and my story, my journey. Why am I doing this? My why. And block out that negativity, because that also is a mindset, and I'll talk about that in a second, but focusing on your own journey, because it's so easy to get caught up in, oh, I wish I was doing things the way she is, or I wish, it was that easy for me. You guys, this room that you're looking at is my closet. Okay, this is my office/closet. My closet sits on that half, my office sits on this half. It looks really pretty in the background, but the reality is it's just my closet. It's just a space in my home that's quiet, away from my kids, away from the noise of the life, and just allows me to be in my leadership atmosphere, right? And so it's easy to look on and go, wow, that's really great. And I'm very blessed. I have a beautiful home. God has really blessed us. But the reality is don't always feel like you need like that Instagram style, the pure white style house, like all the things that you assume people have. I've met some of the top performing leaders, and I've been around many through my journey just in network marketing in itself, but I have been around many people that the assumption is they're multi-mega millionaires and they have it all. And the reality is they're some of the loneliest people on the planet, okay? And so my tip for you is stop comparing yourself. You might feel like, like someone has it better than you or they're more put together, but the reality is I'm doing this freely as myself, and that's why I feel and sound very confident, because I can speak clearly as myself. If I mess up, I'm going to mess up. I'm human. And that's a part of network marketing a lot of people don't teach you, is you show up and people forget like they were normal, average people. Not everyone comes into network marketing as like this business-minded person. They're just normal people that are looking for a side gig or extra income, or they found this product worked or that product worked, and then all of a sudden their mind switches off because now they're running a business and they want to act like they're this, this corporate level CEO, like when they're just an average person that's just trying to make ends meet. And it's not saying that you can't adapt and grow to that if that's your ambition, but the reality is most people in network marketing are just looking for something that's fun, they can relate to, that works, that allows them the freedom, that gives them some income back or pays for their product. And when you look into, focusing on someone else's path and you worry about like, what is this person doing? What is that person doing? You forget that you had to create to get to that point. And that's what I talked about character building a little earlier, and I'll get into that more later, but not today. But you have to decide. You have to decide what you want and who you're going to be and how you're going to get there. And then you have to be willing to pivot. I was on a reality TV show almost 2 years ago, and it was a really eye-opening moment for me, because I actually went there as a network marketing leader, and everyone else there were entrepreneurs building their own businesses. And I see now why God had me on that path, why I went there. The people I met was great. But the reality is during that time, I sat there in like, I was so out of my element, because I was comparing myself to all of these people that were building businesses. They weren't doing network marketing. I knew a lot about networking, and I knew a lot about building on my platform, and I could have great conversations with those people. But the reality is they were doing things that I didn't have to worry about because of the path that I had chose. I was in network marketing. I'm in direct sales. That, now I focus on it with my company, but at that time, corporate had handled everything. So I didn't have to worry about those things. And I was in an atmosphere where I found myself comparing myself to their journeys, thinking, wow, I thought I was something. It was kind of a humbling moment, but it was like, wow, I thought I was something, whatever. And here's all these people that are clearly doing and, achieving more than I am. And here I was stuck in that comparison mode and, focusing on someone else's journey. And I almost forgot how far I had come. And your story really matters when you share your story authentically, and the parts that you choose to share, because it's taken me a long time to get to a point, and even now I still haven't shared parts of my story that I plan to kind of unravel for my network even. But I spent a lot of time comparing myself you know. And when you take a good look at your story and you authentically share that, and you pay attention to your journey and how far and how hard you've worked to get to that point, you know, you really allow yourself a space where you can celebrate those successes, even the small ones, you know. And then you realize that comparison is a thief of joy. Like, it steals your joy, you know, and God wants you to be happy. So another one would be to hold yourself accountable. I'm going to say that again. That's where most people slip up. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable, and to your leadership, to your business, to your family, to your goals, all of it. You need to hold yourself accountable. And if you don't know how to hold yourself accountable, you need to have a strategy. You need to know what you're going to do. Bare minimum. I talk about DMOs, but I'll do another video just on DMOs. I'm also writing a book on that. But DMOs, I've learned that all the information I've gathered over the years just needs to go into books, and they're super small, like simple little quick read books, because I want people to be able to, if you're anything like me and your focus is like all over the place, I want you to be able to read it in like an hour and get everything you need to the point, all the value, and then go about your life. But if you don't have a DMO is your bare minimum operation of your business, your life, every single day. And so when I teach DMO strategy, I say, okay, daily method of operation. Now, what does that mean? It means, what are the small things, the few things you're going to do every single day for your business, without a doubt. It doesn't matter what you've got going on. It doesn't matter how many appointments you've scheduled for yourself. It doesn't matter any of those things. What are you going to do that's going to help you in your day-to-day business? How can you hold yourself accountable? Okay. And then of course you want to go above and beyond that every day, but this allows you that consistent action to hold yourself accountable every single day. So make sure that you have a plan. You know, if you're in leadership, then you want to make sure that you're checking in with your organization. You're having a way that you communicate with them daily. I do that in a group. I do that on a Facebook chat. We have different means of ways, email, so on and so forth. If you are in sales, of course, most of you are, if you're in this group, then you want to check in on your numbers. Where are your numbers? Know your numbers, right? And holding yourself accountable is also, knowing your numbers is a part of holding yourself accountable. If you're not tracking your numbers for you or your team, okay, and that's important too, if you're not tracking your team, but if you're not tracking at least your numbers, how do you know where you are in your goal? You know, and then setting achievable goals that you can hit, and SMART goals, and we can talk about that. I just did a post on that not too long ago in this group. But really hold yourself accountable to what you need to achieve and do it, you know, and that comes back to that embracing that growth mindset. In order to get those things done, I need to make sure that I do this, and that. It's not, this is my goal and this is where, you know, this is where I'm, or this is my starting point and this is my goal. It's just going to happen. There's a lot of grit that happens in between. Staying positive. You guys, I don't, if you don't know my story, okay, I mentioned a little earlier that I had fallen ill. My disease, I have multiple sclerosis. It took over. I was bedridden, wheelchair walker bound for 3.5 years. It's been nearly 2 years. It's in April to be 2 years since I needed my walker, which has been a really great blessing. But during that time, I was also told I was going to die. I had histoplasmosis. I didn't share that openly on my network. Only a few people knew. I showed up to corporate parties, like network marketing field parties. During that time, I empowered and educated people during that time. I didn't tell most people. And here I am still living and breathing after they told me that I would be dead in 2022. So I'm still here. But the reason that throughout that process that it was, I guess, and I won't say easy for me, because there's a lot of things that I haven't shared that I just didn't feel were appropriate. And this is where the positivity comes in, like why you have to have a positive mindset, because there's a lot of things in this world that will steal the breath out of you, you know, and ailments, physical ailments, especially diseases, illnesses, stress, family quarrels, different things will really suck the life out of you. And if you don't find a way to be positive and to seek light every single day, then you are going to be trapped in that. And there's no way you can effectively lead as a leader when you are depressed. Let me say that again, and don't feel offended, but that's the truth, okay? Now, you think you can because you're faking it till you make it. I'm here, I'm doing this, but the reality is when you are in that gloom, when you are stuck down in the depths of it, your team feels it, and it comes out in the way you present, it comes out in the way you speak, it comes out in the way you post. And so if you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, maybe 5 years back, I don't know how many I'd have to tell you to go back on my page, you're going to see someone that's kind of negative. It's actually a whole different atmosphere. I'm a different person. And if you kind of go through where I was in my journey in different companies, you'd see I was kind of a different person in each company because I was trying to adapt to who they were and not authentically who I was. And it wasn't until I stepped into my journey where I was like, wow, okay, hold on, I want to be authentically me, that I realized if you continue to post negative things, yes, it gets more feed. Yes, it gets more people. Like, people love a good argument. People love to give their opinions, especially on social media, even when it's not welcomed. And so, like, if you allow that and you fuel into that by posting negativity, yes, you're going to get a lot of views. You're probably going to make a lot of money on social media because they pay you for those views. You're going to sell your soul in the mix. You're going to feel so down and dark. It's not a positive thing when you find light in negativity, because there's really none. It's false, and so staying positive, making sure what you post, what you say is positive. When you have someone that's negative, you block it. And I do mean it. In leadership especially, and I'm going to talk to network marketing leaders, when you have someone that is an energy vampire in your organization, and we all have them, you limit yourself to them. And it is very important not to feel elevated higher than them because you're in leadership, but because if they're sucking the life out of you, first of all, you don't get paid enough for that to happen. And two, you cannot effectively operate in a negative situation, in a negative environment. Now, you might be able to adapt and survive because that's what I did for so long. I grew up in an abusive household. I was always taught that I wasn't good enough. I was, this is why I became a people pleaser. Like, I had to give, because I always felt like I had to resolve issues, which led into leadership, feeling like, oh, I'm giving so much because I'm resolving everyone's issues. But really what was happening is I was taking on all that negativity, and it was draining the life out of me. So once I decided I'm going to focus on the positive, I'm going to show up as positive. If I have someone that is, for instance, in a coaching call with me and they're going down that negative avenue, they get less energy from me and I cut it very short. Or after I've tried to redirect them a couple times, I'll redirect, positive, redirect, positive, redirect, positive. If they're not taking it, you are trying to take the life out of me. You are the enemy. For now, we got to go. So I cut it short. But yeah, staying positive, looking for a silver lining in every situation, and focusing on what's going well. Because that positive energy really does attract positive results. What you say, what you think, how you perceive the world is really how life feels for you. And I know that seems very guru-like when people are like, oh, well, positive mind means positive life. It's the truth. It's the truth. If you can focus on positivity throughout your day instead of focusing on all the bad things that are happening. And that's why, like, over the last few years, when people are like, well, how, if you were doing this and you were struggling here and your health was here, you're so strong, you're so strong, you're so strong. I'm like, it's not that. It's just that I'm consistent. I'm consistent in what I'm doing. I'm holding myself accountable. I realize that I'm never going to grow if I stay stuck in here. If I say to myself what I was told my entire life, you are not good enough. No one will love you. Nothing you do matters. There's not enough you can do in the world. So on and so forth. And you continuously think about those things all day long. You stay stuck in that environment. That is how you perceive the world. When you go out to a shopping center and you're there and someone is having an off day, then you see them as a personal attack on you rather than like who they are as human beings. And you don't see the person that's struggling. You just see how they're affecting you. And then that's how negativity spreads. When I walk out somewhere now, I try to compliment people, and I'm not doing this to edify myself. I'm just telling you like a tactic that I use. When I'm out in public, I try to compliment people all the time, not because I want them to see me, but I want them to feel seen. And because I was that person that didn't feel seen. And so trying to add a little bit of positivity into the world just by little tiny tidbits it really makes a difference. And not only in the person that you're uplifting their spirit, but in your spirit. Like, you feel better, you lead better, you show up more confidently, and all of it just kind of it all plays a role. The last thing I'll tell you is to never give up. Giving up equals failure. That is it. That's how you fail. Period. You can start over, you can retry, something didn't work out, you can try a different way, you can pivot, you can move around, you can find a new company, you can stay with the same company and keep spinning your wheels, or find a different wheel to spin and it starts working. You can do all these different things, but the moment you give up, that's when you fail. Okay, there are a lot of setbacks and challenges along the way to success. And when you decide on what success is, I think I'm going to give you a number 6, because I was only going to give you 5 points, and I think I'm going to give you 6. But when you decide what success actually is, and this is going to tie into never giving up, because truly, when you keep pushing forward, no matter what you do, it's not about skill, you guys. Hear me out, because it's not about, you can learn skills. Okay, I do not have a college degree, and I can tell you what, like, there are a lot of positions I'm overqualified for that would require one. I have learned skills over the years. When I wanted to become a personal trainer, I became a personal trainer. Okay, when I wanted to become a success coach, I became a success coach. When I wanted to become a network marketing leader, I became a network marketing leader. When I wanted to write books and become an author, I became an author. I learned the skill and kept going. Okay, I didn't know what I was doing right away. In any position I've held, in most positions I've held, I'd say I'd started with imposter syndrome. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had to learn that. Okay, I had to learn that skill along the way. And if I would have given up 10 years ago, if I would have given up 5 years ago, if I would have given up when they told me I was dying, if I would have given up when they told me, hey, this disease is incurable and this is how your life is going to be now, I would still be in that bed, if not dead. If not dead, because my mindset already told me I was dying. In fact, the moments where I let the darkness seep in, and I did for quite some time, when I let the darkness seep in, I was at my lowest of low. Yes, I could smile, but it always shows through your eyes. It always shows through how you present and how you show up if you cannot allow yourself, or if you allow yourself to start giving up. And giving up looks like many different forms. Giving up looks like allowing negativity. Giving up looks like being pushed over. Giving up means not showing up for your goals. Giving up means just letting people down, letting yourself down, negative self-talk, not taking care of yourself. There's so many different things that can fall under that giving up, okay? And the last thing I want to talk about is success. Because I wasn't going to talk about this, but I just feel like led to say this to you. Success is not financial. Success is not financial gain. Do you understand? Success is in wisdom. Success is in the amount of people that you can connect and network with, and that is the truth. Like, the more people who know you, the better off you are. And not in the sense of know me for showboating, but know you for like the authentic things that you're doing, your works, your ministries, right? Like, that's what it comes down to. But if you measure your success in financial goals or gains, you are going to be let down a lot, because there are times in my life where I have earned a lot of money, and there are times in my life where I was really thriving and not earning anything. Okay. And the reality is once I kind of changed my mindset, and again, it comes to mindset, to realizing that success has nothing to do with the amount of money. I just earned an award recently, which I didn't even know was something I could earn, to be honest, but I was recognized in my field as a leader, and I was very honored, but it actually drove me a little more to step up my game, because I realized that these people see something in me that wasn't prompted by me. And those of you in network marketing, listen, you get it, because like if you're a leader, you want to be seen, and most of the time you're not seen. You're showing up for everyone else, and yes, you're still seen as a leader, but the reality is you're the one cheering everyone on, you know, and you kind of fall in that avenue where people are like, oh, they're really strong because they're the leaders, so they don't need us, we need them, you know. And the reality is no, that's not true. You need other people. We all like to feel seen and heard and valued. And that's why I've always put out so much value. That's my thing. If you're on my team, you know, if you've been connected with me throughout this journey, you know, value is everything to me. And then I always fall in principle because I just want people to be treated with respect. But success is not measured in financial gain. It's just not. You know, if you always focus on money, you're just going to be stuck in that system forever. Now, I'm not telling you that you can't earn a lot of money and live a fulfilling life, because I mean, money is kind of the system that we're stuck in right now, right? Like we have to earn income to pay our bills and to do the things and to serve and do all these things. But the reality is when you embrace, just like you set goals that are not monetary goals, like when you set goals that help you to truly see your vision for what it is and where you see where you're adding value to people's lives. And I pray that you're in a position that you actually get to add value to people's lives. Because the reality is like there's a lot of people out there selling a lot of snake oil. And if that's your thing, that's your thing. But for me, I've always been purpose driven. I have to know that product works. I have to know that structure and that system works so that I can offer something confidently to the people that trust me. And people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so if they don't trust me, but they know me to be someone that's trustful, or if they've entrusted me because I've gained their trust throughout, you know, showing up confidently, consistently, all the things, and not always confidently, just consistently, I better give them something that's valuable for themselves. And that's just part of servant-driven leadership. And I know that there's people out there that are just money driven, and that's your thing. That's not what this group is about, just so you know. This group is about strategizing and how to add value to life, how to add value to your teams, how to grow successfully in network marketing, and how to structure your mindset so that you can truly win in all areas. That does not just mean or limit your bank account. Okay. I was earning 5 figures easily a month doing social media, just posting anything. And there are some videos that are so old that I can't even find them to take them off, and I would love to take them off. It doesn't matter to me that they have 76 million views, right? Like, I want them gone because it doesn't align with who I am. But I decided I wasn't going to sell my soul anymore for social media views and likes. I wasn't going to stand here and commit all of my time into, and time is the real currency, right? And so many things steal our time, but I wasn't going to commit all my time to posting on social media when my children need me, when my husband needs me, when life needs me, when God needs me, when he's calling me to do other things. I wasn't going to do those things. I was, but I was stuck in that cycle because they teach you money makes the world go round. In order to be successful in network marketing, you got to be earning 5 figures, so on and so forth. I have lived a very blessed lifestyle being a disabled person in network marketing. But that is not why I believe that I'm wealthy. I am wealthy because of the only riches that God can give me, right? Like, that is my life, that is my family, that is breath, that is through my ministries, through how I can add value to other people's lives. That is where it really sits. And so when I decided not to do those things, I sacrificed that, yes, but I allowed myself the freedom to truly embrace what wealth really is, and that is that time freedom. And everybody that's in network marketing, I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, you are looking for time freedom. You don't want to be stuck clocking in and clocking out on someone else's time, building someone else's business. You want to be out there, allowing yourself the time to live. We just took our kids, we homeschool, we took our kids to the ballet, the Minnesota Ballet put on the Nutcracker, and it was really an exciting moment. It didn't cost us a lot of money, you guys. It cost us like $6 a ticket, $7 a ticket. It was a lot of fun to get out there and go and experience that, but that's not something I would have been able to experience if I was tied down. So that's where looking at the positivity side of things, or the positive side of things, comes in, and looking at it as, well, I could sit here and have focus that I was this disabled person unable to do all the things I thought I wanted to do, or I could look at the freedom that has been allotted to me by being in network marketing. I could look at all the people I don't want to work with, and then I could look at the fact that I get to work with some of the most incredible people, servant-driven people that I've ever met in my life. people from all walks of life, people that I get to add value to. And so that's where the real wealth comes in. Wealth comes in people, wealth comes in knowledge, wealth comes in time, freedom, and so there's so many different things that I feel like I could go on and on and on for, but my goal was to keep this under, a certain amount of time, and I've already gone over that for you today. But I hope that you found some value in what we discussed about mindset. And, my goal moving forward, like I mentioned, is to utilize this group for us to grow and just evolve together, not necessarily to cross recruit each other or to try, to sell each other. That's why I don't want posts with a bunch of links and stuff in here. We will have opportunities for you to share your links. I'm okay with that. There might be people that are in your company that share this group as well, and that's okay. We are not in competition with each other. There are billions and billions and billions and billions of people on this planet. Many of us operate in many different markets. We do not have to fight each other for success, right? And so my goal is just to teach you what I've learned throughout the years, help you in any way that I can, and encourage you to show up authentically as yourself and teach you a little strategy along the way. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much for listening, and go and, go add some value to your team today.